Hello, welcome to the Be Goes On podcast. Today I have one of my best friends, Erica.
Hi.
She is owner of First Page Marketing. She's a guru at marketing. She's my entrepreneurial coffee. I need to explain it. Like whenever I need a recharge, I'll be like, let's go have lunch, let's go for a walk. So tell what you do.
Okay, First Page is a digital marketing agency, and I am a partner. There are 3 owners, and we are about to celebrate our 7th year in house.
It's like yesterday.
I know.
It literally seems like yesterday.
So we started out as a just a consulting agency after we left our previous jobs,
Which was crazy. That's a whole podcast in itself. But she left some crazy ass shit at her last company, and then 2 other people, Luke and Myra, that she worked with, came together and they started this company. And I think it's a beautiful story because the company was created out of necessity for your own lives.
Yeah.
You wanted to get out of what you were in before, and y'all were literally forced to change.
Yeah.
I will never forget it. I remember Erica's not a huge drinker, but when you get her out, she's a lot of fun. But she legit was like, she was my neighbor. So she would go out with me finally. She was my neighbor. I'm like, that girl lives up there, but she rarely hangs out with me. And then when shit went down, I think you just needed to talk it out.
Yeah.
It was very stressful.
I think, I don't even know that the 3 of us have ever talked publicly about what we went through and what happened. And
can you, or they're...
Yeah, we can. We're not bound by any agreement. And we didn't sign any confidentiality agreements with the previous owners. So yeah. But it was crazy. We were kind of forced off a ledge to start our business. We didn't know exactly yet. We knew we could do things for people in the business world, and we knew Lucas was the head of marketing, I was the head of HR, and Myra was the head of finance at this previous organization. So we knew we had the bones of a business.
Yeah, it's a very dynamic trio.
The SEO and the local SEO and the website building came from what we did at this previous company for our marketing budget. We spent all our money on SEO essentially. So that's where we knew about it, and that's how we knew it would work. Mm-hmm. And that's the beginnings. And then we've been rolling ever since. We are now in almost 40 states. We have 2 Canadian partners, and it's just been great. It's been a great...
She's learned so much from where she started to where she is now. I mean, it's just...
Oh yeah, I definitely taught myself.
Yeah, same. And I think that's where that's where we are in sync with the other, because we'll meet up and we are just figuring out as we go. We don't have to have it all figured out, and no one really does. And all of that's just fake.
Right.
And you
fake it until you make it. It's true. Even the largest organizations.
Just do it in an honest, authentic way, and you will be able to
100
pivot and persevere and make it.
It's the authenticity that sells it.
There's no, I don't know. We've had friends even. I've had friends that are not friends. I've had people I know try to make a business out of something that's trending, and that it always done us down.
No, yeah. Or I have people who are super invested in making everything very polished, and then they never do it. So they are going to try and run ads, or they're just going to get active on social media, or they're just going to be in front of the camera.
Just lingering forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's people, like me, I'm very impulsive.
Yes.
I'm not as impulsive as I am, but I'm very, I don't think you are.
I mean, I think I sit in the middle a little bit because I'm a control freak for sure. But I have that impulsivity, I am impulsive.
You were better about working out and stuff. I wasn't working out as much as you were. She was good about partying. Then she would walk it.
I think that's when I was really getting into podcasts back then. I was really trying to I was trying to figure out how it was going to balance building that business with at the time it was just 3 of us. So we were building websites, managing clients that were doing payroll. We were at that point doing a lot of other services just to pay the bills. So I think learning at that time, I thought, surely there's a way to balance it all. Surely all these people have it figured out. The ones you watch, they have it figured out. And I think what I've realized in 7 years is nobody has it figured out.
No.
And the more I give myself grace and knowing that they're okay.
I think it's because I think people are getting more authentic now than they used to.
I think because they're tired of putting on like the filters and makeup.
So there's been this like wave of like social media where we were a part of that, like a part of posting, because I remember you were big into social media when the marketing company first started, and I went to you for help with social media. You and like Bergeron,
all about showing the perfect pictures and only going
filtered and you have the same filter and have it all match, and this looks like this. To be honest with you, I'm over it. I post because I enjoy seeing my community on there, and I'm done with how many likes. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I'm done with the Instagram algorithm. I think you and I both kind of just gave up on it a long time ago, because it's like, I truly believe that in the social media world, it's still, the law of attraction still applies.
100%.
And there was like one point where my business page took off, and it went from like 700 followers to 4,700. I'm making this up, but it was somewhere in that
Crazy increase.
And I posted a post, and it was like, and I didn't follow anyone, and I didn't interact. I was like, I'm literally just being selfish and posting and not interacting. Haha. Like,
yeah.
I'm getting likes, I'm getting comments.
So it didn't mean anything.
And then there was like a stopping place, and I was like, I don't know, just recently, I was like, I remember thinking that, like, I don't have job. I'm just going to post for a business, because it was a task I was doing because I had to do it. And then when I needed the interaction back, and it stopped, I was like, why did it stop? And then something dawned on me where I was like, well, I guess I never really interacted with others. How can I expect anyone to interact with me if I'm not interacting with them on there? So I authentically like find the people. I make interactions. It's all just a thing. Like, you make interactions outside of in the world. Yeah, I mean, we follow each other, right? So if their friend tells them and their friends follow them, I bought Moriarty's book. I reached out to her. She actually reached back out to me. So, and then it's dawned on me. It's like, these are authentic interactions, and that is what social media was starving of for so long.
Yeah.
And now we have it again.
And that's the highest return on your investment. It's going to be an authentic reaction. You can post, if you have 5 people like your authentic post, all 5 people buy, that's better than spending hours on a marketing campaign that's dedicated to money and chat on Facebook that means nothing.
We're not know-it-alls. We're just speaking from our experience. And it's like, better to have those 5 followers that were authentically yours, that will genuinely follow you and care about what you have to say.
Stay with
200 followers that you got for some crazy giveaway or whatever. Like, I still do the giveaways because you do catch some good with it. It's shit to like cross-pollinate. But it's just like, just get on there, be you, let yourself shine. You know, if you're not a corporate company, I think it's really hard to do it once you cross over into corporate.
I think it's just like deciding when you're a small business owner and you're trying to decide that where you're going to put all of your money, because you only have so much for your marketing budget. It's like deciding what time is going to be most valuable for you. If you like social media and you're really good at it, and you're going to be authentic and drive that relationship, then I think the investment is there. But if you're not, then there are a lot of other things you can be doing and spending less time on just posting, yourself, your genuine self.
Yes, if that makes sense for you and your business. And I think, my biggest help is my community. Like, my community of women within my area, but also like my community through Beettan.
Mm-hmm.
That like the people you surround yourself with, the podcasts that you listen to, the books you read, it all, if you don't like reading books, listen to an audiobook.
That's what I always say, like when we hire new employees and they're always like, well, how did you learn about local SEO? I'm like, well, first I just tried to find out who the top people were in the field. And then I tried to align myself with people that have the same values as me, because SEO is so spammy. And there are a lot of people in the world or in the industry that are just not like me, So listening to them and their business tactics or how they grew their agencies or any kind of business development didn't seem right, So I had to find
what goes over here. It's not how do you want to do it.
It wasn't. I need a more intuitive, like something I feel like more empathetic and have an emotional intelligence. So in sales or in, digital marketing, I don't want to be that pushy, spammy,
me neither.
Sell nothing.
And some will call that slow to grow, but I actually, same. I also, which is the path we chose with our businesses.
It's just the hardest path. They don't. They know.
because I feel like they grow and then there's this hard stopping point and it's so expensive and they raise all this money and there's all this debt. Like, is it though? And then they sell it and then it goes up. It's like, I don't know.
One of my really good friends, when we started First Page, we got the LLC from the state and got all the shit. And I was like, oh, we're the shit. We're going to be the best. We're going to be the biggest. We joined all the networking groups. We joined the chamber.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, he had just started a business over in Charleston. And he was like, just remember, I know you're excited and you're amped to get all this shit done this year, but it's going to go slow and you want it to go slow. So just slow your roll. It's not all going to happen at once. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up.
Love your ambition. Don't ever change that.
Thank you. But it was hard to like manage, like, how do you compare? And then nobody's honest. So then, like me and you could be totally honest about our businesses and say where we are monetary, how we're doing and that sort of thing. But every other business is like networking groups.
Yeah.
It's just like this fake, like, we're doing so great. Everything's so great. And meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, we're great too. Oh, God. How everybody's so great. And we are.
And that's why I'd love to follow the people. And I use these sayings all the time, like the Jasmine Stars. I wish I could articulate like Jasmine Star. Have you ever listened to
the people who are
just... She could say, like, she would have said everything that we have just said in one sentence. I mean, she's so good. She's quick, dude. I love her. So if anybody out there...
We have trouble finding our words.
I don't know. We just are who we are. We're Southern as hell.
That was my one of my employees was like, just make sure you don't sound like a hick tonight.
No, we're Southern. Actually,
I am who I am.
We are Southern women, and we're in a Southern town. One of the most popular Southern towns in the South, Savannah, Georgia, and we have the coolest women in this town. I'll say it over and over and over. We have the coolest. We have just on this street
so many entrepreneurs. It's us in an award winning. It's like it's not just like small businesses that don't win.
Bag designers, clothing designers, Cortland. How would you describe her? Home decor designer.
Yeah,
all of the carpet clothing and print designer. I mean, great stuff. Michelle, yes, great. Beth, Brinker and Savannah, very
Chase, all of our it's
yeah. I real estate too. I mean, there and then Anita, what just saw Anita. Anita's a yacht design, like she's an interior designer for yachts. No one even knows about her because it's not something that there's a storefront. But we have an amazing group, and I just get to like walk downtown and just run into these women on a regular basis. I'm truly grateful. There needs to be like.
I know we'll talk about, we've got to talk about
some publication written about like women who have interest in being an entrepreneur just need to walk through downtown and meet these women. I was inspired early on by Mary Liz and Emily. There should be an Emily. It was our trial. I know too many Emily's, but
there needs to be like we've talked about this over and over because I know it's our destiny and I know it's what we're called to do because like it's something we decided way back
when I'm so excited. And you're like, so if you don't know, I do have a real estate license too. I met a broker named Beth, and even though Beettan is my passion, with the bank wouldn't give me a loan, I got her real estate license, and I still do it because I love working with Beth and I love what she's about. I love what she stands for. She's creative. She cares about curating an area that
she's an eye. Exactly.
Like she doesn't put things in places just to put them there.
It's like integrity. She does business with integrity. And I feel like that's how all of these women we've been talking about. Everybody is doing such a good job. I think she does is pretty damn cool. Yeah. Like if you bring such a,
she has an artistic vibe. So she brings that in the real estate, investments, either she does or the investment group she works with. She's definitely brought a lot of value to Savannah. And one time when I first started working for her, I remember we went to her house and drank way too much.
It was amazing. And my best story of her is she's the greatest resource to sit down with and talk about business. But I also talk about
she does it because
she just is like
that's what really makes her a commercial broker. And it's because she's not trying to do it herself, but she really is so creative and
she's so invested in making Savannah better or making the area wherever
investing their time at the whole thing. Like I heard someone recently say that office was dying because of COVID, but now actually people are wanting community again. So office is coming back and there's no office space. So with the new investors that we are working with in Starland, The upholstery building is going to close soon.
Really?
Very first listing. Do you remember that?
She listed that.
And I rolled my commission into the deal, so I have a small ownership in it.
And that's amazing. And that's, I know what that space is going to be, I think.
So it's going to be retail on the bottom, and then we're going to do office on the top because we get called.
Oh, okay.
And the center block in the behind it, the center block building that's kind of funky.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be a bar, but it will be a cool bar.
Yeah.
So that was something I put my time and energy into. This is something, I put my time and energy into this property or into this idea 5 years ago. And the man that owned the property wanted too much money for the property. And I said, this is how I do real estate. I was like, well, it's his baby. His family's owned this property. His business is inside this property. He utilizes it for his business. I'm going to respect him and not tell him he doesn't care about Savannah. He's not even from here. So I just kept in touch. Had that listing for 5.5 years.
Then you finally,
and the market finally caught up with its price.
Oh yeah. And now he's like, oh God.
And now I'm a part owner in the property. So patience.
I have a hard
Beth
time.
always says, wait is great.
I know. That's my friend Lindsay. He was like, just patience because it's going to go slow. Oh yeah. Over there. Yeah. He's like, it's going to go a lot slower than you think it is. And I was like, nah, not our business. It's not going to go that slow.
I think the pride of having your own business, for those that have the itch, I think the pride with it didn't pay us. I mean, we went without getting paid nothing. I'm still back to I'm slacking back. My business is seasonal. My Beettan, my sunless tanning company. So this time of year, I slack back on what I pay myself, just to let the company do its thing. But I was doing it for free, legit for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And loving every second of it.
Yeah.
Thank God I had, money with real estate and other things.
Working 12 or 20, working 12 hours, going into the office, working all day long. In the beginning, not only was I selling something that I didn't understand, so I had to spend half the time selling and half the time then learning to feel confident enough to sell. Because, before you go I can't sell anything unless I can stand behind it. And I needed to fully understand it to be able to stand. I'm a big picture person, so I got to know the big.
And I learned about business while she was learning. I benefited from just hanging, and we would just talk about, and just ideas. And sometimes we would be like, what, that needs that. Sometimes it would just be
nonsense,
imagination. But at least we had an outlet.
We were so creative. Yeah.
Well, because when you're learning, I think it's really important to use that energy. Don't stay in the box that you're in. You never know what's going to happen from some of those million ideas that we had along.
We have a spreadsheet where we have all these ideas for
names for names for groups and names for
a million leg it's like putting a million legs on a table so that it can stand flat. It's that idea that just keep putting ideas in there. Some of them will work out. Well, that's how we started our company. We did everything. We ran payroll. We did we would hire for people. We were only working in the healthcare industry. And then we got to
and it ended up salons.
Yeah. Salons. Now we're in the beauty industry big time. And then in the eye doctor world, locally, we are with a lot of local service providers. Anybody that has an address really that provides a service either at a person's house where you go and you're either giving them a spray tan or putting a roof on their house, or someone comes to your office. It's just so nice to say, being a business owner is hard. Growing this company has been freaking hard. Every day being a positive leader in your company is hard.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back.
My biggest thing in the beginning was learning how to listen to my inner intuition, trust it, and trust it, and know. That feeling you get when you're doing something that's not going to work out. You've taken the job,
or if you're
previous, it was going to be bad, right?
Who's more advanced in whatever area they're advanced in than you.
There are those feelings. They're no, don't do that.
You want to do it. How many times have I done something somebody told me to do, and I knew that it wasn't right for my business, but I did it because they know more.
Right.
Ever ordered 5,000 lotions I couldn't sell?
Oh yeah. See, yeah. Because you're just obvious. I think it also comes from that imposter syndrome that we all I struggle with so much. And that, like, obviously, if they're an expert in the field, they know more than me. So obviously, I know nothing, and I need to not listen to my inner voice and not listen to like the actual knowledge that I do know. And I'm just going to do what they tell me to because they're smarter than me, or they're older than me, or that whatever.
They've been in the
Industry longer, or they just speak better. I find myself, you know, like you just like, I'm not a business owner, but yet I've owned a business for 7 years.
Do you like I got social media guy that I did everything he told me to?
Yeah. What was his? Yeah, I'm going to say his name.
But he seemed like a professional, and I think he was in his own right with what he.
Man, it was a good salesman. It was so annoying when people are such good salespeople, but they know all they're doing is.
I had my first retail product. It was right after the lotion, and he said that he could put it in influencers' hands because he did. He had an influencer.
Oh, those networks. Yeah, that's right.
And he said that he could sell it. I didn't know at the time. I didn't look into who his influencers were. I just saw how many followers they had, and he had 20, 30 of them that were willing to try Beettan, push Beettan.
Right.
I didn't have to give them any percentage or anything. I sat down with him and another very large company owner in Savannah, who's military base. I sat down with again, they're very successful in their own right, but it had nothing to do with self-tanner that he did not.
But they wanted to help so much.
People I had access to in Savannah that were successful, and I listened to them. And they weren't trying to steer me wrong, but what I didn't know that I do now was I didn't understand how to see what I didn't know with the influencers that they were setting me up with, that I didn't know.
You didn't know that
their followers.
Right. And you didn't know the questions to ask.
At all.
You hire the person you like to have the service. Like it's all the
time. Yes, and ordered 5,000 units of a product I'd just come out with because I had to. I took out a loan. The bank wouldn't give me a loan. Half of it was a real estate transaction. The other half of it was a loan.
Yeah.
And then it sat there. And not only, it's not like it sat at an office. Back then I was working out of my home.
So, sat in your living room.
It sat there and I stared at it every day. And I'm so thankful for that now. And this is not that long ago. This is 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's kind of a long time ago though. 5 years.
It seems like yesterday that I lived there.
Yeah, I know.
And we had so much fun there. But I'm so grateful for that now, because staring at that product sitting on my living room floor, and not being able to push it, and all of that mailing, and not only that, I paid this. Yeah, I paid these people for their assistance, and I was just drowning. But I'm so grateful for that now, because that made me find other ways to sell it. I got my first wholesaler in Savannah.
Yeah. You knew what questions to ask if you ever were going to do referral or, referral marketing or.
So that's what I learned. You also learned ways to push product that you need to get rid of.
Right. Yeah. I think that's another thing, like remembering that when we fail, you're not failing. You're just learning how to keep your business going. You're learning.
And how many people, and I'm not putting anybody down, because sometimes you just don't have the energy or the mindset for it. Your energy is better used in other ways in life. Mine is not like that. I looked at that product like, I did this and I love this product so much. Who can I find like me? And who I could find like me were the people spray tan. So then I started finding more spray tanners, and I knew that my value was in the experience I had with knowing how to spray tan. And then I was able to push it to every spray tan. I never would have picked up retail products like that. Like I never, and then fast forward to COVID and everything is shut down, and thank God I had a retail product to see about.
About all failures, I would have never started First Page if the FBI had never raided like we would have never. I don't think I ever thought of myself as an entrepreneur. Like growing up, did you ever say, "Oh, I'm a business, like I'm going to be an entrepreneur"?
I didn't think that was me. I thought that was people with like money, or I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know it was possible.
I didn't think that was me, but yet I was in a business club in high school, and me and my sister had a jewelry business. You were always hustling though. There was always a side hustle or something that you were putting your minds together. So, and then so after me and my sister had our jewelry business in college, we got jobs and moved off. In my worst moment in healthcare, when I was so like, you know, like that corporate 9 to 5, just like everything's over my head. I can't think of doing. I never thought, you know what, I can just quit all this and start my own business ever. Which, like, it was so awful. My previous life, I'm so thankful for First Page and the FBI and everybody that ended the previous year, because like I was so good at. I didn't even see all the opportunities. So now I think it's great to like be able to tell people.
And you really are
opportunity. Oh yeah, 100%.
And she's working her tail off. It's not like, and we doesn't feel like we're gonna be on that yacht one day.
Shoot, yeah.
But I look at Missy, my podcast producer, because she always talks about a yacht. So, but I truly believe that, because I truly believe that we weren't gifted this energy to come out. It's not like we were like, we won a lottery check. It's not like we're that company that like took off overnight. We have put the grit and the grind in our businesses.
We've made the bad decisions.
Those
have happened, and they will happen again.
And I think that's why we're the best to hire.
Yeah.
Because we can help others.
Yeah. Well, I think also
because how many times your intelligence always to help others. I mean, it's very people who, one in particular, people who never really had to grind. Like they had a leg up, and I put people. Savannah's a weird place. So there are a lot of people who were like, trust fund.
It's a very small population with a very high average income for certain populations, I would say, because on average, it's a very low income.
Exactly.
But I think that it's just it's a special place where things exist or families exist. I grew up just south of Atlanta, and even up there, like the idea of moving back to your hometown, no one moved back to hometown, you know, but in Savannah, everybody comes back to Savannah, even if they went to UG. I mean, like,
and people still, like at 40 years old, you know, the families that were thriving.
There are thick family ties here in our town. So there is a good old boy network. So we have to break through consistently.
Which we are. She's on microphones. We are. Well, the women in this town have really proven it.
Absolutely. Because at the same time, while we can name all those women business owners, I can only name a handful of men that I respect that own businesses here in Savannah. So there's that.
I like that.
I do like that. I mean, think about it. We don't have to name them out loud, but like, you know, you only know there aren't that many. We don't hang out with a crew of dudes that own businesses, although we do have.
And the ones that we can name really have started it on their
own as a non-Savannah local, or, you know,
it wasn't a family inherited business or name or yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
I think Savannah is super magical for business. I never thought about that until now. Like, why there should be a major.
It's easy to network here. If you get get in and you really want to get gritty and get in it. But what, in my experience, and I don't know this to be a fact, but with my experience in Savannah, the women are beautiful and magical and wonderful. And the people that I looked up to welcomed me with open arms. Emily McCarthy, Elizabeth from Satchel, Mamie Ruth, Liz, like the list, Libby. Libby's a mother, but she's a fabulous photographer.
Amazing.
Yeah, and she is a mom first, but I'm telling you, her photography is unbelievable. But to have someone artistic and creative look at you and give you a compliment, they've always been my biggest cheerleaders, and it's just been a ripple effect. And I think because of their energy, they attract that energy, and Savannah just has this crazy cool network of women that are truly supporting the other. Yeah, authentically, truly supporting the other. And I don't think you find that as much with men in the South. And even though you know, it's just,
well, they have their own network, but it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's just different.
I think we're filling a need, or we're filling a hole that needs to be filled here, especially in this town. And then the opportunity to exist here on a level that's larger than maybe another town with the same population size, because our population size is pretty small. I think it's like only 150,000.
I don't know what we're going to do with all the growth between the Hyundai dealership, the growth from
that's like Bryan County is about to be, I mean, it'll be.
That's the only place to go. Poor, you can't even get in there. It's crazy. So Savannah is thriving. So I feel so grateful and lucky that, so blessed that I started a business here. I will say it forever. I'm so grateful for the community. It's bartender to business owner. And I was really welcomed with open arms. The only person that got in my way was me.
Always yourself.
Yeah.
I think that is like that's a great line.
Well, it's true.
It's the truth. It's always yourself that keeps you from doing whatever it is. Like showing up authentically and being able to like do things authentically takes a little bit of courage, and you just have to do it. You just have to like get out of your own way.
You're not always going to get welcomed with open arms.
Right. But you also have to be brave. So you also cannot go somewhere and expect people to just embrace you without you kind of opening yourself up a little bit. So you can't have your arms crossed in the corner, expecting people to come up to you and network or talk.
Like, no one knows how hard you're working. Nobody knows what's going on behind the curtains.
Right. And as long as you can keep that in your mind about everybody else as you're doing what you're doing, then you can show up and you can do what you need to do and tell your story or something.
Introvert, I think
I would say I'm an introvert.
I could see that.
Yeah, I'm for sure.
Absolutely. I think
I'm like an
introvert. I'm like halfway. I have my introverted moments.
Yeah.
But then it all depends. I also, in my business, I see everyone I get in town. So I think I have a little bit of like, hey, you're
when they tell you to like if you're scared or nervous doing this podcast, you just make as any naked.
Here's the honest to God truth. I don't remember what anyone looks like naked because I've seen so many naked people. So rest easy, my feet.
Associate from the
edges. But I'd say I'm like half introvert, half extrovert, and it's I'm also like I'm half and half on a lot of things in life. I'm a very confusing human, but I did see really good advice, or just read really good advice from Jamie Kern Lima.
We love
her. She was saying like she's an introvert, but she like she'll come out whatever. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I think the best advice was she tagged along with someone who wasn't.
Right.
And Emily Bardrow was that for me.
She's an extrovert. She's not afraid to talk to people.
Yeah. And she'll ask questions.
Right. That you want to ask, but you're just like,
yeah. So, and I'll always appreciate that about her. Absolutely. Mary Liz says too. Mary Liz isn't scared.
Yeah.
They're very like bold when they walk into groups. Yeah. And I get it because their business started on this street before businesses were on this street.
Yeah.
And they had to put themselves out, and neither one of them like born and raised here.
Right.
And had to.
So Savannah sometimes is I guess like
I think they changed it. I mean, I'm giving them the credit where credit is due. I think they changed a lot of the way women interact with each other downtown Savannah that are business owners.
100%.
And I think they deserve that.
So I think people make Savannah as cliquey or give Savannah this idea because of the reputation or the way it may look from the outside. But when you're in the moment, because I'll have, for instance, just other people say, well, talk about our friend group as being a cold friend, or I'm like, you're just looking at it from the outside because there's no way, anyone that has like pushed you away.
I think it's just intimidation. Like, how many times have I get intimidated by someone who grew up in a different
I'm always in
a lifestyle than I did growing up because I grew up pretty broke. And I myself put them on a pedestal. They're people. People are people.
Are people. Everybody's story is different, which in line gives you it gives you your story, changes your view on life. I think I don't know why people, when we decided to hide our stories, like the reason me, Luke, and Myra have not talked about our story. Why are we hiding our story? Because that's like such an inspirational story. Your story your story is inspirational as well because it makes everybody that out there realize, oh, I can do something like that. It would have made myself back in the day when I didn't know what I was going to do. Be like, oh, if she can do something like this, then I can damn near do anything that I want.
It makes all the hard, for me, it makes the hard path here, which hell, I'm still on a path.
And it's still hard. Like,
I love art. It's just different. It's a different kind of art. There's a different, but the things, it's like, I've said this on another podcast. It's like that Miley Cyrus song. There's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to have to climb. And that, like, as a business, that I wish I could eat Dari, but I need to write Miley and be like, I wish it just be out. And I know it probably was written about her music career because the words of that song I listen to on a hard day because there is always going to be another mountain, and you're always going to, like, everyone out there is lying if they're like, I made it.
No one. That's why I'm always interested in like finding out who people I think are super successful are making it. Like, and then when I talk to them and they tell me they're not making it, I'm like, oh, here's another one. Like, yeah, another story of where we've built up these people to be these things that they are totally not. Even in like when you become a vendor of a large organization, when like we partnered with L'Oreal, and then we realized that L'Oreal, this multi-billion-dollar international company, the parent company to the L'Oreal company, maybe you buy mascara from too, that they are just like, running their business just like we're even less technologically advanced.
Because you have to learn. There is no, okay, I figured this out. Let's stay here. I think the people who say, I've seen it over and over again. I've seen it in commercial real estate. The people that say, we figured it out. This is what's working. Let's stay here. And they don't pivot and they don't change.
It's like, that's why the IRS website is the way it is, because they made it one time. And then they were like, oh, I don't even talk about them.
They never pivot and change.
They pivot and change all the time.
Oh my God. Do they?
I kind of feel like y'all gave you the launch. Don't you remember growing up and hearing this like,
yes, they just write everything off. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just write everything off. So I went to my accountant and I'm like, we can just write everything off. And he was like, there's no writing anything off.
Now you know a business. There is no writing anything off. It all has to be like tracked to someone. I get in trouble all the time for like paying via Venmo. And they're like, please stop it. We have to have their information. And I'm like, it's a write off. I'm that person. I'm like, they did this for me. Like, why do we have to have all their information?
It's a wash. Like, they owed me, I owed them. It's gone. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Well, don't hold it that way. But I did it today.
But yes,
I Venmoed to someone today. I'm not supposed to Venmo, but I do it all the time.
Put it out into the universe.
Venmo's okay, IRS. It's just the easiest. Like, you have something break at the office. The guy shows up. He has a payment. All right, we can talk about this really fast. Forms of payment are so frustrating now. Venmo was the first, probably. PayPal was actually the first,
probably.
And I like PayPal. It's protected. I know I charge a weird percentage and you can't really catch it.
My thing with Venmo, though, is just like that all it is transferring money back and forth between bank accounts, but the IRS means that you can actually just set up your bank account, or, well, I guess I see people do it with their loved ones, like their spouse or something.
You're like that.
And also, keep that note that Venmo is like kind of like social media and it's public. Like, I think some people don't know.
OMGs.
That thing they don't know if that their transactions are public. They might not make, I know you can make it private.
I do it all the time. Public. Because I forget to like,
that is weird. It's like,
who you want to see.
And also, I can go look up your name and see all your Venmo trends. That's super weird, right?
It's super weird. And also just adding another way to like figure out what people are doing.
It's like Dateline. I don't know why anybody tries to commit a crime anymore. There's a camera on every platter.
Hate a hooker on Venmo.
Yes,
definitely.
100%.
Publicly. With the eggplant emoji.
That's when I think about those State Farm. Is it State Farm?
I can't like Google, then I bet you can. I've never tried. Google and cheaters. People find their spouses cheating.
Yeah. Because they're dumb and don't realize that they can make
stepping and coughing. I am sick, but I'm still pushing forward. Okay. On that note, pushing forward.
Yes.
I want to, at the end of this episode, I'd like to encourage my spray team partners. They are, for me, family. They're my community. They are the me's. They have a spray tan business. They wanted to thrive. They wanted to grow. Okay. So Erica is a master at salon marketing.
Yeah.
And I have used her for my local business and for my company many times in the last 7 years that she's started her company. And I can't think of anyone better to inspire, whether they have been with me. I think the oldest spray tan partner is 4 years old. So they're all still very new.
Yeah.
And they've dealt with COVID. So we're this community who's
right before COVID.
And then a lot signed up during COVID, but I'd say like 30 to 50. I don't remember the number was pre-COVID. Then COVID hit. So we've been through a lot. Now we have about 250. And I'd say sorry, my nose is so right. I'd say that half are super active and the others are like, this is like fun part.
Yeah.
Or like it's fun part-time. Like they have a job and they love spray tan and it is a fun. So but it's full on. So the ones that are full on who know that I have a brick and mortar now and they see that, and Savannah's legit it's a 6-figure spray tan business.
Yeah.
We hit 6 figures in May. So we're doing well.
Yeah.
And I would like to teach that, just to hear it from someone else. We have it in the training, but you can get lost in all the training that goes with the spray tan side of it, the business side of it.
Yeah.
First of all, what advice can you give to the girl just signing up? We have someone in Massachusetts on it this week.
Okay. The first thing I would do would be establish their Google business page.
Which she signed up for, where we do that for them.
Okay.
Tell her how magical that is.
I would say that's your number one. Google is the number one search engine used, regardless. You don't even get in the weeds thinking about the other search engines, because you want to focus on where all the traffic is. Most of the traffic is dominated first, right?
Just Google something.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that on your Google business page, all your stuff is good, everything's good. And then you want to work to increase its ranking. So a Google search engine results page, if I were to say spray tan, Savannah, Georgia, at the top, you're going to see a couple of ads. Then you're going to see the map section, which shows 3 people usually on it. And that map section has its own algorithm. So that section algorithm is dependent upon 3 things. Your relevancy to the person's search, your optimization of, I think it's the optimization of the profile, it's less weighted, and then your rating score, so your review score, whatever that is, or it's your proximity. The third one is your proximity. So Google uses how close you are to the searcher, how much your business is related to that person's search, and then how many reviews you have, or your rating is the most important. So that's weighted the most after proximity. Gotcha. So anything on a maps, Apple Maps, anything where you're going to have a map show up.
If you pick the second package, the first package, we try to teach you how to do that.
It's hard.
That's hard. But if you want to take on the task, we'll teach you. Out of the second one, we do it all for you. But we can't do
the reviews.
We can't do the reviews, but we can set up the people who have business that got you, but you still have to have the address.
Sure. Yeah. So you gotta have there are all kinds. You don't have to have.
At the moment they were being really picky, where they were sending the postcard and then you had to do this thing, this 360.
Sometimes they'll make you verify your business with video. Sometimes they make you verify with documents. Sometimes they'll make you do shit and they just send you a postcard with a code on it and you do it. Sometimes they'll be oh, we'll call you with a code and immediately verify your business. It depends on your industry. We have lawyers that go through maybe a more strict process. Someone that's coming to your house to rekey your house, they have to go through a more strict process to verify their business. But the biggest part about it is it's frustrating, because you as the new business owner have no idea how to get.
You're learning how to do all this other stuff and you're wait, why
right.
At all?
And so you can choose between being a service area where you go to people, if you're a mobile spray tan business and you're going to go serve someone, you can hide your address on Google Business and you can say, I have people who will get their home address verified. We got your home address verified.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll verify.
Yeah. And now I have to freaking work. No, it's not easy.
business addresses are recognized better. You don't want to use UPS addresses because sometimes the UPS PO box won't
like US.
or USPS, yeah. So you don't want to have a PO box necessarily, but if you can like rent, like my building on the 3rd floor, they used to rent a mailbox. So you got like that address and you got mail delivered there. And if you can find a place like that, that's a real commercial address. So you could do that. So I would say making sure that all of your information, there's a lot of stuff that you can put on your Google business profile. There are offers that it's kind of like social media. You can put an offer up for a full month that you're going to do, complimentary, I don't know, whatever with a spray tan, or maybe they're going to get a follow-up or something. You can do offers and posts, and Google looks at that information from your profile and will actually rank you higher for someone searching for your services. Cool. So that's like the Google Maps section. So you have the ads at the top of the Google search. Then you have the map with the 3 listings. We call it the 3-pack. You want to rank there. And then you have the organic below it. So I would say if you're very first starting out, ranking organically is hard. If you want to run ads, you can. But the biggest thing would be get reviews on your Facebook.
That's the first thing easy. Like, get your friends,
set up a Facebook page.
Facebook page.
It's Google doesn't have like this like super strict terms of service for leaving reviews either. So you can anybody that knows your business can leave you a review on Google. It's not like Yelp. So Yelp is like ridiculous. Don't go there. Don't try and work that system. They're awful. But Google, your mom can leave you a review saying that, this is a great person. Yeah. I know you. I can work. Anybody who's worked with you, vendors, other parts, or at least anybody can leave you a review there. Like start getting a whole bunch of reviews and then start getting regular reviews. That's what you want to do with your.
Yeah. And not too much in one day. They don't like
that. They don't like that either. And then, you don't know, like others, like what about
you can see the value in Beettan with the Beettan partners. Like we set up the Google My Business page.
I will say setting all of that up on your own is the biggest thing. We have people call our office all the time that just need that service, and we don't provide that service. So
so just tell me this, based on your opinion in the salon business, and this is going on my Beettan official Instagram page, Erica, based on your salon marketing and your expertise, how valuable is it that Beettan for $2,700 sets up, they get a spray tan kit, they get their Google My Business set up, they get a website, and we start the process of their booking system.
But I mean, it's huge first if they were to go price that out. And that's what you should do in your sale, is show a comparison of what, if they already
has a friend who builds websites.
Yeah, but we all know how that ends. That's always the worst idea. If you're talking about the business that's going to make 6 figures, you want to make 6 figures in 2 years because it's doable. It's completely, or even, it's doable. You work hard to do things the right way. You don't want to skimp on things that are the most important in this day and age. It used to be and it still is in real estate. Your physical location is important, but now it's like, where are you digitally? And are you going to be able to get yourself there by yourself? If you're not, then you need to hire experts in the industry. And if you have an opportunity to join a certification program where they're thinking about digital marketing, when you can think on a level that probably nationally there aren't that many that also include the digital marketing piece. Like it's like,
and we're talking it based on what the mistakes I've made from my so it's a spray tan business. It's studying a spray tan business that succeeded, failed, succeeded, or started, failed, came back, succeeded, and skipping the steps and keeping up and pivoting with the current.
Right. So I think if you think about like somebody who is going to start a spray tan business, they decide that's what they want to do. Maybe they're in a salon, or maybe they want to add an extra revenue stream. Mm-hmm. You can definitely know that their expertise is not in digital marketing, and they do not know. And it took hours to learn this stuff, and it is so confusing that when you read the first blog that you're going to read, you're going to have more questions that will lead you down a hole. So I think it's more about like, how much time do you have? So what do you want to do? Are you interested in yeah, exactly.
You should put your time into the service and getting involved in your
and hire the experts or be a part of something that's invested in, like that has the expertise there already.
Right. Right. It's so hard to, because I was obviously at Sunless Tanning Company first. it's so hard to explain how valuable that part of the company is, the digital aspect of it.
And I think it's hard for us to explain to our clients who are hiring us for those services that what we found, we just rebranded and not rebranded, we redid our core values. And one of our number one core values came out to be like education. Like our mission is really to educate people.
So good.
Educate small business owners on what it means to hire somebody to do local SEO for you and what it means to hire someone to build your website this day and age. And like those things, if you know what you need and how you can hire anybody and you can decide if you want to do it or not. When I taught that class not too long ago to those real estate agents, I told them the only thing I wanted them to gain from the class, because I'm not a social media expert, but I said, like, all I want you to gain from this is the understanding of what is there and what exists in that for your industry in this marketing realm. And then that way you can make an educated decision, not just, oh, I don't like it and I don't want to do it and it's so hard.
Which is what everybody feels.
Right. But you can actually say, you know what, this is how that works. And I'm not going to invest in that right now, but I can later, or I know where the experts are.
At least you have an understanding.
How about, you know where to go and you know what you're.
But a little bit goes a really long way. Like for social media, like just doing something, you're just putting the energy out there that you care. I think the biggest way on social media is just to interact. We said it at the beginning of the podcast, like interact authentically.
Yeah. Or just do it. Like those are things I always tell people, like we have salon owners, they're not making that much money. They do not have a marketing budget that includes hiring a social media manager to produce social media for that. So we always are just like, do what you can, but also remember that you're not there to, like, don't think about it too much because then you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
So make a decision and move forward.
But don't like excuse it. Like it needs to be done. And it's so free. Like it's free. It's free.
And if you have a business page on Facebook, you can schedule your posts.
You can bring her in here. She was working. I know. Come here, princess. It's a good time to close out. Actually, hey, come on, princess. Princess can be a part of it now. I want to have Erica on here regularly. I wanted this episode to be so laid back. That's why I have one. That's why my dog's here. That's why we're on the couch. Because I get the best information when I'm just hanging out with my friend. And I want other people to have access to that.
No, I'm happy to come back. I like it. I enjoy it. I think that we're called to educate or like inspire.
We really enjoy helping people with these situations because over the last, like we said at the beginning of the episode, 7 years ago, she started her company. And I was really getting an itch to grow Beettan in a different way. And we grew together and we were both so freaking excited. Also so freaking tired.
And scared. But you know what? We believed in it bigger than it was. The biggest thing is like we believed in it succeeding more than we believed in it failing.
And
so 100%. So like, I think that says a lot about like, we weren't really in that manifestation mindset at that moment, but we were already.
We didn't understand manifesting at the time, but we were already
doing it. I remember listening to a podcast back then that was because I remember at the time saying a lot that I was broke. I'm broke. And then I listened to this podcast and this girl was like, don't say you're broke. You're not broken. You just don't have any money at this moment. Stop putting out into the world that you're broke. Because when you put that out over and over and over again, that's what the universe reciprocates back to you. Right? That's what you start to believe in yourself. And then you don't succeed and you get into this rut and it's like this constant, negativity. So you just have to start rephrasing, reframing how you
have those negative thoughts, no matter what it is. I can't do that. She's in a better city.
This is too slow.
Like catch yourself and say whatever positive reinforcement that you need to say. When I'm in slow season, I'm like, stop saying you're in slow season. You're in learning season.
Exactly. Instead of saying I'm broke, you say, I don't have the money that I wish I had at this moment, but I will. and it's going to be okay. And the next day is going to come and it's going to be great.
And I'm
not
it's not slow season, it's learning.
It's learning season. And what do I need to do? I need to go into a room and I need to brainstorm tons of ideas. And this is the time.
I can guarantee in this season that you learn more when shit hits the fan than you do when shit is
Smooth sailing. Yeah. You don't learn anything.
I can promise you that. So be grateful for those moments that are hard, because you are learning some very important life skills. And not only are you going to help yourself and your company, you're going to help people that come across you, and you're going to be like Erica, who thrive off of that and want to help people and save them from that mistake.
Yeah, for sure. And people are going to see the passion and see they're going to see that you're driven and inspired. And I think coming to that and finding that and getting away from this idea that you need to be a millionaire overnight, because that's not the journey that you want.
You're setting yourself up for failure if you think every Google review or whatever is going to give you something instantly.
No, yeah.
It's all a layering process, right? Slow ingredient for the perfect recipe.
Right. Oh, it's like a slow cooker.
I like it. Oh, she's over it.
Max can get you guys too much.
Princess. I liked the recipe with the slow cooker. I think that it's our patience. People don't realize how much work it takes. Like, people will have a new website, we have clients have a new website that goes live, yesterday, and they're like, I wasn't booked fully all day today. I'm like, okay, we're going to get you.
It is not.
It's going to happen.
Amazon has ruined us.
But don't worry.
Like, there is nothing like you get. Like, it is patient. And you know what? It's going to end up so much better than you thought it could be by letting it just happen the way.
Because you're going to learn how to handle the business. Initially, you're not going to be able to handle being bombarded with a ton.
No, that's not.
That's not
I'm sure. It's not like,
yeah.
That's for television.
Yeah.
Real life doesn't work that way.
Right.
And it still feels just as good. Princess, what do you think?
I wish that.
Tell us.
Just,
We'll make her next time.
She does me. All right. Thank you, Erica, so much. Yeah, I'm going to have her on more often. I love her dearly.
I love you.
I mean, we love each other so much. You guys have no idea. We've been through so much together separately, but she's just one.
She introduced me to my husband.
Oh, I forgot about that.